Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Deeply Rooted Business Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I love. Well, one, it's based off of a book that also changed my entire life because when I read the Marie Kondo, like tidying up,
The life-changing magic of tidying up.
yes, I purged my life, purged all clothes, all pictures, things like that. And it felt so good. So, if you are teetering on the verge of burnout, we are going to Marie Kondo our businesses a little bit in this episode and really start to just feel more joy and to embrace areas in our business that bring more joy.
I think it's so funny because I don't know if we've ever talked about Marie Kondo together, but
No.
I think it just shows how much we vibe because when I read Marie Kondo, it actually was like it was like probably one of the most pivotal moments of my life. I was 28 years old. I was going through Saturn return. If you don't know what that is, we can look up that. But I was going through Saturn return. It was a really hard time. I read Marie Kondo and I like literally purged like 4 SUVs worth of stuff out the door into the Goodwill. I used to work in retail, so like the clothes I had was massive, and that space that it created, like just like I ended up like purging my partner at
Yeah.
the time too, like going to like
Goodbye.
joining yoga, teacher training, like all of these things. Like I just got rid of, and I really like kind of started on the journey to like purging the job, and like that's where I am here now is because partly of this book, which is just was crazy.
That is so funny how aligned
It's
we
very
are.
funny. So I'm really excited to purge this. So we're going to be going through kind of like the 4 different pillars.
If you're new here, I'm Rachel, your marketing mastermind, and I'm here with Jess, our lovely systems architect, genius, guru, all of the things. So let's get into it. Yeah, first one, what are we purging in our business?
Yeah. So I feel like I did this probably at the end of last year. We're going to be talking about our offer suite. So one of the traps or the burnout traps that we often fall into as entrepreneurs is offering way too much. Like we are solo or small business owners. So we do not need a product suite of like 15 different things and 18 different formats. I think a lot of the times when I start working with clients who are really stressed out, it's because they are a solo entrepreneur and they have about 15 different packages. I think it's really easy, especially for the health and wellness people that we work with to do this because they try to like customize and cater to each specific client that they work with. But really, when you're creating custom or creating new for each different client, that's just adding more complexity to your business because with every offer, it's going to be a different management system. And I think one of the things that I try to work with my clients to do first is to really like simplify that offer suite down to like
Yeah.
one, maybe 2 or 3 key offers and then work from there.
I'm going through it right now where a lot of my retainer clients have kind of just been like the ones that are ready to conclude their contract. I'm wrapping up, but I'm not opening doors for more retainer just because my life has changed. What brings me joy has changed in my business. And it really is important to understand that like you don't have to just like keep doing things because they've worked in the past. And that's my like current like mantra to myself is like this has worked, but it's okay to let it go kind of thing. There's my absolute amazing business mentor has this kind of like profit and loss sheet that she runs through. Go grab it. It's the doers. I'll put my link in the show notes here. But there's one of the really powerful exercises that she runs through is talking about like a percentage to total, like whatever your offer suite is. If you are mapping these things out appropriately and you say, like, okay, I have 10 offers. This one brings in 3%, but takes up X amount of my time. This one brings in 25% of my time, or percent of my profit, but brings up this amount of time. And there really is just like the visibility on things. And Jess and I talk so much about this when it comes to auditing your business and like kind of annual planning. It's like, how much time is it taking to do these things? How much profit is it bringing into your business? Like all of those. And when you have this like visibility on it, it's a lot easier to say like, okay, well, maybe 2 or 3 people asked for this, but like, it's not bringing me enough versus how much time I'm spending on this. And so that's one of those things you can easily say like, that's gotta go kind of thing. So yeah, it's really like I've seen so many people like 25 different things that they're offering. And I'm like, there's no way you can deliver all of this very, very like white glove clientele, like client experience. There's no way.
Well, I think one of the things that people get confused or tripped up over with scaling is that they think they need to offer more things to scale, when really scaling is about how can I continue to grow this without my input as much. So that's where like creating and like that's where the whole quiz offer came from is like we were like, okay, these are the things that we like to do in our business. What is something that we can do over and over again that's not going to require our hands in each and every aspect. So there's not an expectation that our hands are going to be in every single aspect of it so that we can really do this offer over and over again and really live in the spots of that offer that spark joy. So then that's where our quiz came from. And then we brought on different support players that could
Mhm.
do kind of the pieces that we don't enjoy as much.
Totally. We're gonna Marie Kondo this. I want you to look at your offer suite and say, like, which offers truly, truly like spark joy, and which ones are like when somebody books it, just gives you that like, "Ugh, I don't want to do this." That feeling. And then trim down some of those things that just give you that feeling in your business that you just don't want to do it. Start to slowly like retire those and get them out of here because there's no time to waste in that not joy energy.
All right. So the second area where your joy could be sucked the life out of you is with your boundaries. And we did a whole episode on boundaries about 2 or 3 episodes back about how to protect how we're probably not really that great at boundaries, but how we're working to get better and kind of some of the commitments that we were making to ourselves so that our energy and our joy is not leaking out everywhere.
Yeah. No, we're not gonna waste too much time on that. Go listen to that episode because it's very real, very honest about the duality of boundaries because sometimes we say yes and because we really like those clients and then we end up sitting there kicking ourselves being like, why didn't I just say I can do this but I have to charge you an additional fee kind of thing. So go listen to it. I really like that episode that we did. And then moving on into our third area to assess joy is your content strategy. Again, in our annual planning episodes, we always talk about really focusing on like what is actually like when we talk about our lead source audit, what is actually generating leads. And I think there are so many people out there who are just in multiple platforms because they think they have to be in multi platforms and they're creating a version for TikTok, they're doing something else on Instagram and they're doing something else here and it's just not a very structured system. Just has this really genius like what do we call it, the waterfall, the content waterfall, and really systemizing a way that's taking, if you want to be in all of these platforms, taking it into not creating 5 different elements, but taking one hero piece and really trickling it down into the appropriate format and into that area so that it is, less time, but still impactful.
Yeah, and I think it's about getting like really, really honest with yourself with what's working. I don't know if it's a millennial entrepreneur thing, but for some reason, like I've had so much trouble with letting Instagram go. Like it's always on my list to do it, but I like being on Instagram. I like seeing on Instagram. I think maybe as like a personal account, I would love to be on Instagram, but if I'm really, really honest with myself, and I've actually been doing an experiment over the past month where I dedicate myself to Instagram and I've been showing up 7 days a week on Instagram. I'm like, I'm going to give it one last go to see if this does anything good with my business. And let me tell you, I'm maybe seeing like 4 new followers and like my views are getting nothing. But on the other hand, I'm getting inquiries, business inquiries, new strategy calls booked from like YouTube videos that I've done months ago or years ago that I haven't touched. And I'm like, this is like the universe smacking me in my face saying, like, let go of Instagram. That is not your place. That is not where you're going to find your people, at least for this specific business, and go do YouTube instead. Because I can trace back now probably, hundreds of thousands of dollars from coming from my YouTube. It's not a lot of clients, but these like high quality clients are finding me on YouTube. And with Instagram, maybe a couple, but they haven't been at that quality. And it's just, that's probably not where my people are. But I don't know why I have just like such this fear of like completely letting it go.
I know, me too. Even though I haven't posted in like months and months and months, I really need to figure out if it's a platform that gives me joy, because I do have the opposite problem. When I do post on Instagram, I do get clients, and I'm just in this resistance to clients right now because I don't know what I want to do right now. But anyway, so your actionable kind of tip for this is really looking at like, where is the highest impact coming? What right now is not bringing in any form of like joy into your business? Like, again, it's that feeling of doing something in your own business and getting the internal response of like, I don't want to. And that's really what like these areas of joy are areas in your business are trying to like shake out. So look at the high impact, low effort platforms that really you can systemize and structure so that you can, do a little bit less, but still make such a big impact on it.
So our fourth one is to reassess your metrics and really hone in on those metrics that are actually moving the needle for you. One of the kind of shifts that I've made in my business recently is focusing on kind of means goals instead of end goals. So end goals are going to be things like sales combos, followers, stats, even revenue, which sometimes, especially when you're like first getting started with business and still like in that experimental phase, or if you're starting something new, it can be harder and kind of like demotivating to set those goals because you're not even really sure what you should be setting to. So one of the things that I like to do is look at set means goals instead. So instead of like, oh, I'm going to grow my email list by this, it's like I'm going to send out 6 newsletters this quarter, like so that I'm actually working and being able to see progress and working up to that momentum so I can get that consistency. And then I can kind of look at like these key performance indicators like open rates and things like that and adjust from there. But I think when you're just starting out as a small business owner and you're in that like experimental phase, your means metrics are much more important than your in metrics.
I agree with that entirely. And we're such nerds. Like, we really like looking at those things. But I also think it's like, if you're one of those people who just kind of really like that, like instant gratification, is that when you can visually see like month over month or quarter over quarter and see the like progress of things, you still get that little dopamine hit when you're looking at that, because it really is so like when we're in the weeds of everything, it's hard to kind of like take that like helicopter look up and be like, oh, look at all the progress we've made. But when you start tracking your metrics and really actually take the time to just like jot them down and then every month take a look at them, like you still really do get that impact of like, this is working or this isn't working. And why am I still doing this?
Yeah, yeah. But I think first is just building up that consistency. I mean, data only becomes helpful when you have something to compare it to in the past. And if you've never even worked up the consistency to get there, and like where you can see the trends and like if you're actually performing better than last year, then it's kind of just a downer when I'm seeing like my YouTube subscribers have went up 10, but I met my goal of posting 4 times. And like sometimes some of those metrics just take a little longer to kind of affect than others.
One of the little tricks I like to do on my clients' analytics reports is that I like to like flag which ones are vanity metrics and which ones are impactful metrics. So I will like highlight the vanity metrics in an act like in a color, and then like conversions, engagement, like that stuff is like impactful metrics. So like when you're like looking at it, you're not sitting there feeling, oh, this open rate was low, and it's like it was on a niche topic and it gave you X amount of conversions. Like you really like it's everything is so nuanced. So I totally hear you about like, you reached your goal of posting, but only 10 people grew on your list. But how many leads have we gotten from, I say we as if I'm a part of your
Well,
business.
you are a little bit.
But like right amount of leads from
Yes.
YouTube. So.
Yeah. I mean, for only having 110 people and having 3 clients come from there, I mean, I'm like, why am I even playing with Instagram anymore? Why am I wasting 2 hours creating content? I could just be creating another YouTube video.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of the 4 areas of your business to reassess in order to spark joy back into your business and Marie Kondo the crap out of it. So, first one is your offer suite. Whether you have 10, 15, however many offers on your offer suite, take a very analytical approach to it. Like, get everything out. We're going to truly Marie Kondo it, put it all on the floor. We're going to look at it and we're going to say, what is one bringing us joy? What two is bringing profit? What is draining our energy? And like really take a look at where you can cut areas of your offer suite that maybe just no longer align with your business. Two is your boundaries. Where are the energy leaks in your client experience, your client relationships, and all of that? Where can you really tighten that up? In our last episode, we talk a lot about like you can use systems to be the bad guy that like reiterates and reinforces your boundaries. That's really, go listen to that episode if you have problems with boundaries like Jess and I. And then third area is your content strategy. So really focusing on how can you make the highest impact with the lowest amount of effort, especially as solopreneurs. We do not have the time to be multi-platform, 100% content creation, unique to each platform. That's just not realistic, ideal, or anything like that. So looking at what's going to make the most impact and then how can we do it in a streamlined, steady way. And then lastly is your metrics. So kind of ditching the vanity metrics and then actually start to track. If you are not nerds like Jess and I, just even step one is just assessing what's important to you, what numbers do you have to get visible on, and all of that. So, looking at what's moving the needle, not what's just, I guess, vanity wise telling you you need X amount of followers, X amount of email subscribers, all of those things, and look at what's actually making the biggest impact in your money or in your, yeah, in your business.
In your business and your money. All right. So if you found this episode useful, definitely share it with a business bestie, like, follow. We drop a new episode now every week. We have moved away from season, so we will be here every week in your ear, hopefully talking to you. If you decide to remove anything that is not sparking joy in your business, definitely share it with us on Instagram. Let us know. Until next week,
We
we
are
are
rooting for
rooting for
you.
you.